Wilbur Soot throughout his career has been one of the most influential creators in the community. From writing one of the most popular stories in Minecraft, to creating one of the biggest unsolved online scavenger hunts ever, Wilbur has proven himself to be one of the smartest and most entertaining creators out there. So join me today as I take you through the countless journeys he's been on telling the legend of Wilbur Soot. Also, we are coming up on 1 million subscribers. I literally spend hundreds of hours on every video, so it would mean the world if you could take just a few seconds to go subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Our story begins 4 years ago, on April 15th, 2017. Wilbur, for the previous 9 or so years, had made content on YouTube, but today much of it has been deleted. During that time, he posted mostly random funny videos, covers of songs, and a bit of Minecraft across a few different channels. But nothing really seemed to take off, and he had outgrown much of his old content. But this time, he knew things would be different. Together with his friends, Matt, Rihanna, Dan, Charlie, Jack, George, and David, as well as many others along the way, they would begin the channel Soot House. The idea was fairly simple. The group would get in a Discord call and review something on the internet, adding their hilarious commentary on top to make it even more entertaining. They covered anything from subreddits to random websites, obscure YouTube videos, or anything in between. Quickly, the channel found success, gaining 50,000 subscribers in the first 8 months. And for good reason.
To clean myself, I use Dave. UC Cream Bar.
Blue Speed Mouse.
Yes. That's just
Why is he horizontal?
Can you give us a simulation of someone speaking to plastic, please?
Hello.
It was clear the group had chemistry, and the quick-witted jokes and simple look made Soot House very easy to enjoy. And so, they continued, even bringing in a few new friends they made along the way.
Shuffle. $8. 50 Shades of Gary.
I'm only 16, but my back aches like an 8-year-old with arthritis.
You know what the size of this lad?
Absolute unit.
Alright, 6 days ago I get this email titled New Editor Application Important, and I think, well, I'm not looking for a new editor, but I'll give it a click. Oh, hello! Now Wilbur Soot knows how to start an email. That got my attention. Hello, Mr. Massey Welsh, sucks at life. My name is Wilbur Soot. I edit the 870k subs channel Soot House. In your last video, you stated you required a new editor, and that there would be an application in the description of the video. That was a joke, by the way. Anyway, I could not find your application, so I assumed this was a test to see who was worthy enough to pursue your application process without an officially recognised form. What? But anyway, I got this, and, you know, I thought about it for a while. And, I've decided I'll bite. Let's reply to this fella. Make sure that this is someone you trust. Hello, Wilbur. Please see attached a video for you to edit. I expect very high quality content. You have 24 hours. Glowing regards, Jack.
But what Jack didn't know is by pressing that button, he would be setting in motion one of the biggest unsolved stories the community has ever seen. Spanning across 7 videos, bringing together tens of thousands of online theorists and remaining unsolved to this day, this was the beginning of the Wilbur Soot ARG.
We're sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled program.
Carly rolls best for the channel. Hello, Jack. Let's see what sucks at life.
Seriously, what is happening?
You're going to need to make a decision. Jack, by the time you'll see me, you know, will be dead. It's nice when things end with a bow on the top.
48 hours after Jack replied to Wilbur's application, Wilbur sent back the finished video. Not knowing what to expect, Jack recorded himself reacting to the finished product. At first, it was a pretty standard video with some basic cuts, background music, and a few funny edits here and there. But then...
Hey guys, it's me, Wilbur Soot, editor of Jack Sucks at Life and all of his videos from now on. Hi. So you may be wondering, hey Wilbur, what are you doing in this decrepit old house? I've come on tough times. Life's getting a bit hard recently, so I don't have any money
Seriously,
for food
what is
or
happening?
shoes, and it's very cold. So what I've done is I've written a song about
Seriously,
Jack
what?
and him and his YouTube channel, because I know you guys love that. My fingers are suffering from hypothermia at the moment, so if I'm not very good, my apologies, but here we go, this is the song. Oh, Jack Massywell.
Jack was at a loss for words. He sat shocked as he watched the rest of the video play out like nothing ever happened. The strange cuts, mysterious, abandoned-looking house, and the abrupt ending to his song made this one of the stranger videos Jack had seen in his time on YouTube. But content was content. And so, not even a week later, Jack uploaded another video. This one completely edited by Wilbur. Right off the bat, things felt different. In Wilbur's follow-up email, he was extremely clear that he wanted Jack's main editor, Kairos Best, fired so he could be the new full-time editor. This was made even more clear when Wilbur censored every time Kai's name was said in the video.
My other editor can't to remove from his job, so he thinks we need to fire.
But it didn't end there, as a few minutes later, Jack requests that Wilbur play a song since his last one didn't really go too well. And as Jack danced to what he thought was a song, Wilbur scrambled into the frame, cold and completely unprepared, being cut off before he had a chance to play. And after yet another strange interlude, Jack decided to end the video. But there was one more thing hidden in this video. During the outro, just for a second, keen-eyed viewers noticed the end of a YouTube link appearing in the top left corner of the screen. And upon typing this link into their browser, they would be taken to an unlisted video on Wilbur's music channel. And with that, the first clue of the ARG had been discovered. This video, titled r/Lincolnshire Poacher, featured Wilbur leaving a voicemail to an unknown person of him reading a poem by Edgar Allan Poe titled The Raven, followed by this.
39715. I did something really embarrassing, and the only way you cannot find out about it is if I take Kai's job.
39715.
Suddenly, we get a bit more reasoning behind Wilbur's hatred for Kai, but what he did and why he's so desperate to cover it up remains a mystery, even to this day. But despite the confusion people were met with, anyone who's familiar with Reddit would realize immediately that the title of the video was another clue. And upon visiting the subreddit r/Lincolnshire Poacher, people would find themselves at one of the central locations for information about the ARG. By this point, a small community of people had already gathered to update each other on new clues and begin to work out a theory on what this could all mean. And the clues wouldn't stop coming. Through the Reddit, another unlisted video was found containing yet another poem by Edgar Allan Poe. A code at the end led to yet another video where Wilbur appears to be on the run yet again, making it very clear that whatever it is he did wasn't good. A link in the description led to yet another video showing Wilbur placing a box in a tree and showing coordinates on the screen. At this point, it was obvious that the box was yet another clue, and that someone would have to travel to the coordinates to find it. And the next day, a member of the community who lived nearby did exactly that, later sharing photos of the note Wilbur had left in the box. The first part of the note just repeated information we already knew, but on the back, it seemed to have a drawing of the nearby O2 Arena. Once again, the meaning of this drawing was unclear, and so, the search for clues continued. Over the next few days, by decoding strings of binary, solving anagrams, and finding hidden messages, the community was able to uncover another video, 4 pieces of an image, which when put together still don't make any sense, and a message from Wilbur. At this point, Wilbur stated all the clues out there at the time had been found, and so, the community waited patiently for another video from Jack. January 12th. Just over 3 weeks since the last update, Jack posted a video titled The Editor Wilbur Conspiracy. In the beginning, he was very clear that the entire thing was edited by Wilbur, and this time, the clues were much more obvious. Morse code over the top of the video, and the biggest of them all, his statement at the end of the video.
We're sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for a spot of boring ARG work, a spot of work with me, Wilbur Soot. Hello, Jack Messy Bob Sucks at Life. It's nice to see you again. There's no more clues in this video. Nothing else. In fact, your community, as you call it, in your Discord that they've made, have gathered most of what they need. The last step for you is to figure out the story. That's the last thing. I need to know one thing. I need to know one thing. One thing. I want to know one thing. Just one. You're going to need to make a decision. Jack, I'm going to need to know by... Let's give you the end of this month. Fire Kai Ross Best from your channel. And if I can't get Kai's job, I guess I'm going to have to be the one to go out and say why I want Kai fired. And this whole thing can come to a nice clean end with a little bow on the top. It's nice when things end with a bow on the top, isn't it, Jack? It's nice when things end with a bow on the top. You're giving me a chance. You wouldn't give a lot of people a chance. And for that, I can see why I'm honoured. I'm honoured, as it were, to be given a chance to edit for you. And I want to know, am I going to have that job permanently? You have until the end of January.
Following this video, the community exploded. New people joining in to help solve the mystery. New clues popping up left and right. The ARG was in full swing. The first thing people noticed was Wilbur's condition. Previously, he had seemed to always be on the run, cold and trying to find a place to stay. But here, he seemed to be doing much better, dressed nicely and seemingly in his own place. He also made it very clear that people should focus on finding out the story, which would prove to be the end goal of the ARG. More clues verified the information we already knew, that Jack was running out of time to choose, and the name R. Faker, which had appeared on the image clue, was somehow important to the story. The next video came a few weeks later, and was once again edited entirely by Wilbur. Jack covered the new clues, and also decided on giving Wilbur the editing job temporarily as Kai was away for the weekend. And at the very end of the video, we find out why.
Nice to meet you. Are you filming this?
After finding out he got the job, Wilbur couldn't be happier. 2 hidden videos titled Understanding Your New Position as King and I'm Cold showed him running around in London celebrating his new position as Jack's main editor, along with presenting even more new clues. 2 more videos came and went on Jack's channel, both continuing to follow the trail of clues and presenting a few more each time. The final piece to the image clue from earlier was found on a Twitter account made by Wilbur, and reveals a new character named iFaker, who is described as the father of R-Faker. Another box hidden by Wilbur was found, holding a few messages which needed to be deciphered, as well as pictures of Kai and the O2 arena. A handful of other clues were found, but most just called back to the themes of Cold and Kai. But the story was quickly approaching an end. As in Jack's 6th video on the ARG, Wilbur sent one last message, making it very clear that the next video would be the last. It ended with Wilbur stating, "I'm gonna make sure this all ends with a bow on top. You'll be receiving a video from me in a few days. All I wanted to do was edit bloody Minecraft videos, and you put me on some quote of editing myself over and over and over again. I've had it up to here. No more geocaching. No more little puzzles. I'm gonna put it all out in the open. Await my correspondence. Glowing regards, Wilbur.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
You've been a bit off recently. I just wanted
Hey,
to, you know,
man,
check in.
I'm just checking up on
Check
you.
in, see if you're doing
You've been
alright.
acting a bit weird lately. I just want to make sure everything's alright. Give me a call if you need anything.
Hi,
always here
Will.
for you. Alright, cool.
So
In a
I
bit.
was just wanting to check up on you. I've been a bit worried about you lately. I haven't seen you in a while. I know you were kind of worried about, like, the thing at the O2 Arena.
The community sat on the edge of their seats as the video continued. Quick cuts, flashbacks, strange clips. It was clear that Wilbur wanted to go out with a bang. And then, the final statement came. All the work from the community, the puzzle solving, the traveling, the theorizing, all came down to the final clue. His last message to Jack.
Jack, Massey Welsh sucks at life. By the time you're seeing this video, the me you know will be dead. The part of me who obsesses and whines and complains and creates puzzles and just doesn't quite know how to handle emotions will be dead. I've learnt a lot over these past few months. It really got to me quite a lot. It made me very angry. Like really, like Petering, I just clung on. But it did make me angry. And you know what, I understand why you'd feel like that. And why you do that. Because you know, when the money's flashing in front of your eyes, all that ad revenue, you know, you gotta grab it. I guess we're not too different. You and I, Jack. It's gonna be difficult to say this, Jack, but I really am gonna miss this. Maybe even you can become friends with the real me. But this part of me dies here. So I may as well tell you the story. The reason all this started, and the reason I've had so much issue with Kai, all began...
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey Wilbur, it's me, Kai. I hope you record that video for Jack soon and tell him how you've come to terms with everything. Listen, no hard feelings, alright? But if you try and take my job again, there will be consequences. Anyway, talk to you soon.
End of final message.
And with that, the Wilbur Soot ARG was officially over. But the community still wasn't satisfied. They were so close to getting an answer, but it wasn't enough. Since that day, countless theories have been made that try to tie together all the clues and find out the story. But every time a new one starts to gain traction, Wilbur confirms that the story is still left undiscovered. And so, the ARG remains, an impossible puzzle with all the pieces laid out in front of us. And the answers to our questions, as far as we know, are still locked behind the ever-closed door of Wilbur's mind. Obviously, the ARG goes much deeper than what I was able to cover today. If you're interested in learning more about it, I'd recommend you check out the videos by the Red Herring and the Game Theorists, linked in the description, as well as the official Google Doc, which lays out all of the clues and theories thus far. All in all, the mystery of the ARG and Wilbur's involvement with Jack gave Wilbur a chance to present himself and his talent of storytelling to a much larger audience. It really helped Wilbur establish his solo career outside of Soot House, and to this day remains one of the biggest marks of his career. But the ARG wasn't the only thing that helped him in the early days of his channel, as on the other side of the Minecraft community, a group of creators came together to create one of the most important servers of the time. Credited by many to be the server that revived Minecraft, this was SMP Live. In late 2018, Minecraft's popularity was at an all-time low. Many people who had fallen in love with the game years ago began to outgrow it. With updates few and far between and a lack of new content, it seemed like the age of Minecraft was finally coming to a close. But in 2019, a chain reaction of events occurred that would change everything. And the first of these events, the one that started it all, was SMP Live. Having finished the ARG a few months earlier, Wilbur had already established himself in the Minecraft community, exposing his personality and talents to millions. He decided to ride this wave by creating some Minecraft content of his own, collaborating with popular YouTuber and Twitch streamer Strad. The two would become very good friends, and this friendship would lead to many stories down the road. The first of which was SMP Live. SMP Live was a server created by YouTubers and Twitch streamers Call Me Carson and C-Scoop. The premise was extremely simple. They would gather a group of older Minecraft creators as well as some new names to the community to make content together on the server. The rules stated that anyone online on the server had to be live at all times. This meant that every second they spent on the server would be broadcast live for anyone to watch. SMPs were nothing new to Minecraft, but the combination of new personalities as well as many others from the earlier days of Minecraft made for a unique and hilarious mix of people that helped bring nostalgic viewers back to the game. A month after the server began, Wilbur asked if he could join, mainly because Schlatt was on the server and he saw it as a great chance for content on his still new YouTube channel. But because of the server's rules, before he could join, Wilbur would have to start streaming on Twitch. Being mainly an editor on YouTube, able to cut out bad jokes and awkward pauses his entire career, Wilbur didn't really look forward to streaming. But after being told he could join the server, he put his worries aside and began creating content on Twitch. And just over a week after he started streaming, Wilbur Soot became the newest member of SMP Live. Upon joining, he quickly realized that he needed to find a place to call home. And before long, he was offered a spot next to Beef Stew's Melon Castle. The small island wasn't much, but it proved to be a perfect place for Wilbur to settle down. And so, he got to work. And after a few days on the server, Wilbur had managed to build a few towers and a small mine on the island. Despite being one of the lesser known creators, Wilbur had become pretty popular among those on the server, making many new friends. But it also wouldn't be long before he made some enemies. In the early days of SMP Live, Wilbur was still trying to figure out his place in the server and what he wanted to be known for. And it didn't take long for him to decide he wanted to do pranks. After being challenged by a viewer to prank Ant Venom, who was one of the older creators on the server having made Minecraft content for many years, he came up with an idea for the prank. His plan was to gather a bunch of doors, some redstone, and an invisibility potion, sneak over to Ant Venom's house, and build a hidden noise machine that repeatedly opened and closed doors to annoy him. And after gathering everything he needed, Wilbur made his way through the Nether Hub and over to Ant Venom's house. Invisible, he carefully snuck his way onto Ant's roof, making sure to make as little noise as possible. His plan was to build the machine inside of the obsidian structure on the top of his house to hopefully make it somewhat hard to find. He mined through the wall and began setting up the machine. Ant Venom, who was just below inside the house, heard the blocks being placed and moved outside to investigate. Once Wilbur was done, he sat on a nearby hill laughing hysterically as Ant Venom wandered around his house confused. He attempted to set up more machines to make it even more annoying, but was spotted. And after a short chase, Ant was able to take out Wilbur, effectively ending the prank. Afterward, Wilbur asked Ant if there was anyone else he wanted him to prank. And without missing a beat, Ant said Captain Sparkles, who had been great friends with Ant Venom and made Minecraft content for years. And after building the machines and messing around for a few minutes, Wilbur ended up suffering the same fate as before, being taken out by the captain. A few days later, Wilbur continued his pranking spree, this time with another streamer, Connor Eats Pants. After a business proposal fell through due to a hit Captain Sparkles had received on Wilbur, and after realizing they both had something against Ant Venom, decided to rob him. Quickly, they made preparations, grabbing invisibility potions, tools, and a donkey named Ben Shapiro before setting out to rob Ant Venom. When they got to his house, they immediately realized Ant was home, along with Schlatt and his intern for his company Schlatt & Co., Ty. Invisible, the two sneaked in and looked through his chest, but to their disappointment, they found pretty much nothing of value. So instead, the two decided to mess with them by freeing Ant's pet Enderman and dropping Ben Shapiro through the ceiling. It was lighthearted pranks like these that made Wilbur loved among the other players and the community overall. Throughout the rest of 2019, Wilbur played off and on the server, returning for and winning the SMP Live talent show,
Spread the message around the world. Squids are people too, oh yeah.
creating a scam using a wool whale named Wilbur,
Welcome to Wilbur's Whale Facts. Whale Facts, 3 diamonds?
and welcoming friends and guests to the server. Throughout his time on SMP Live, Wilbur established himself in the community as a fun and likable guy, and made many friends he still has to this day. And although his SMP Live videos did help him grow about 15,000 subscribers in the course of about 10 days, this would be nothing compared to what was about to happen. As on August 1st, Wilbur uploaded a video that would completely change the course of his channel. Similar to his first 3 videos, this video was regular old Minecraft but with a twist. And also J-Schlatt. In this video, him and Schlatt would simply try to survive together while the water level rose every few minutes. A simple idea, but one that would end up changing his life. As right after the video was released, Wilbur could tell it was different. Every day, the view counter seemed to be reaching a new high, his subscriber count soaring higher than ever. And within 4 days, Wilbur's subscriber count had doubled. And 3 days later, it doubled again. Wilbur knew this was the start of something big, but even he had no idea just how big it would be. SMP Live marked the start of a revolution in Minecraft, an age of content that helped bring the game back from the brink of death. But around the same time, another event was doing the same thing. But this event was much different from SMP Live. Bringing together some of the biggest online personalities from all across the internet, this event had no shortage of hype. Every week, hundreds of thousands would gather to watch their favorite creators battle it out in a series of Minecraft minigames for a grand prize of $10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the age of Minecraft Monday. Wilbur joined Minecraft Monday in week 8 and was teamed with none other than Jack. The two had worked together indirectly for months on the ARG and were now finally collaborating as fellow creators. But despite their chemistry, Wilbur and Jack only managed to place 11th. The next week didn't go much better. Being teamed with Connor Eats Pants, the two fought their way into the top 10, placing 9th overall in the event. Following the two fairly average performances, Wilbur decided to take a few weeks away from the event. 2 weeks later, he decided he would give it another go. But little did he know, his decision to play in week 12 would be one of the best decisions he would make. Introducing him to one of his best friends to this day, he would be teaming with Philza. Philza, much like Wilbur, had found his success fairly recently, after he ended up dying in his hardcore survival world after 5 years. Minecraft Monday was one of the first events Phil had been a part of, meaning Wilbur was one of the first content creator friends he had made outside of his community. And immediately, the two hit it off, cracking joke after joke, and even though they didn't end up winning, the friendship they made that day would be worth much more than $10,000. But Phil wasn't the only friend Wilbur made in Minecraft Monday, as the very next week, Wilbur would be teamed with arguably the best player in all of Minecraft Monday. Growing to be one of his closest friends to this day, he would be teamed with Technoblade. Technoblade was known for his skill at the game, going from being one of the best Skywars players of his time to shattering Bedwars records by winning over 1,000 games straight. Techno was definitely one of the most decorated Minecraft players at the time. Pairing that with his quick-witted and sarcastic personality, it was very easy to end up rooting for him. And in Minecraft Monday, it was clear nothing had changed. Taking the tournament by storm, Techno had made it very clear that no matter who they put him with, he couldn't stop winning. And so, by the time Wilbur got his chance to team with Techno, it was clear that this would be the best chance he would have at winning. And he wasn't wrong. After a hard-fought event, the two ended up just narrowly missing the win, placing 3rd overall in the event. But just like with Philza, their placement wouldn't be what he remembered about that event, but his friendship with Techno. A friendship that would long outlast the tournament in which it began. And as fate would have it, the very next week, would be the last of Minecraft Monday. Throughout his time in the tournament, Wilbur was not only able to expand his audience and make even more new friends, but be a part of one of the biggest parts in the revival of Minecraft. But believe it or not, this crazy sequence of events was only just getting started. And the next chapter in his story would not just be something Wilbur was a part of. No. This one, he would make himself. Bringing together hundreds of creators, playing on a scaled-down replica of the world, and creating some of the most entertaining content of its time, Wilbur began SMP Earth. SMP Earth began with an idea, a tweet from a content creator named Chip. This idea, quickly gaining traction, sparked something in Wilbur, who, after reaching out to one of his mods, who happened to be a developer, and Chip, began working on the server. Right away, the three began building the world from the ground up, mountains spiking from the barren land, fields dotted with trees, oceans spreading as far as the eye can see. Until, a few months later, it was finally complete. A scaled-down replica of the world ready to be explored. And after some final preparations, the first day finally arrived. The day had finally come. Wilbur took one last look at the world before it would open. One last time, the world sat in silence. And one could only guess the conflicts, the wars, and the friendships that would be born on this very ground. And then, the server opened, and dozens logged on to claim their own corner of the world. By the time Wilbur started his stream, the chaos had already begun. People traveling all over the world to create their own kingdoms. Wilbur, much like the rest of the people, already had a good idea of what he wanted to do. His plan was to travel to and claim Newfoundland.
And I don't care if anyone's like, oh, but it's Newfoundland, or oh, it's New Finland. We are Newfoundland. And anyone that says I'm wrong for calling it Newfoundland should suck a...
Sorry, Newfoundland, which is an island located in eastern Canada. Its location as the farthest east land in all of North America would prove very important for the next part of his plan. The construction of a vast international minecart track connecting North America to Europe. In making this track, he planned to charge people on the server a toll for using the bridge, as he expected quite a bit of people to use it. But before he began this massive project, he needed a house. And after gathering some wood from the local forest, Wilbur constructed a small log cabin as the first building in his new country. With his country established and house complete, Wilbur decided to log off and continue his adventures the next day. Day 2 was for the most part a day of mining for Wilbur, as he collected as much cobblestone as he could for his railway. But on top of this, Wilbur also reached out and formed an alliance with Technoblade, Philza, and Voice Over Pete's faction, the Antarctic Empire, which, because of the reputations of Techno and Phil, was seen as a very dangerous group that had the best chance at world domination, which would later prove to be very true. Wilbur also narrowly avoided war with Spain, when the leader of the faction, Grunk, had been paid by his viewers to kill Wilbur twice. But that day, he met another person, a seemingly annoying kid who just showed up at Wilbur's door and started talking. A kid who would be along for the ride in many of Wilbur's future adventures. His best friend to this day, Tommy Innit. Tommy had been at YouTube for years. From humble beginnings, he managed to gain a following through Hypixel Skyblock, which was still very new at the time. His comedic timing and relentless personality made him a face difficult to forget. And right at the peak of his early success was the beginning of SMP Earth. Tommy joined with the full intention of being a problem, starting wars, arguments, finding the biggest names on the server and messing with them until he gets a good reaction. And Wilbur, after meeting him for the first time, realized immediately that he was much more than just an annoying kid. And over the rest of his time on the server, Wilbur would grow to respect him as a creator, and even more as a friend. The next day, Wilbur had finished gathering the cobblestone for his grand bridge and began construction. For hours, he placed slabs over the ocean, slowly making his way around the world, until he finally made it. Spanning hundreds of blocks, crossing the Atlantic Ocean and connecting America to Europe, transatlantic railroad was finally complete. But Wilbur knew that just having the bridge wouldn't be enough. He needed allies. Before long, Wilbur had forged an alliance with Tommy, as well as Travis and Seascoop, who agreed to continue his railway across America to their country in Southern California. Things were looking good for Newfoundland. Having many major alliances and ownership of one of the biggest routes of transportation on the server, it was looking like Wilbur's humble nation was in a very good spot. But things can only go so long before chaos. As on the other side of the world, his own allies had a plan of their own. A plan that would threaten the rest of the world. It seemed like just a normal day. Too normal. Much of the server was not on at the time, but the entirety of the Antarctic Empire was. The rest of the world sat comfortably, not knowing that that day would be the most infamous in the history of the server, and that everything they had built would be at risk of world domination. Technobladed found an exploit in the mod used to claim land, an exploit that, if used just right, would allow them to do the unthinkable. And as Wilbur was notified about what was going on, he immediately logged on to see that the entire world, every continent, every ocean, every country, every player's land, even his own home of Newfoundland, had been claimed by the Antarctic Empire. Immediately, Wilbur called everyone who could make it to an emergency trial in France to discuss what had happened. And within 30 minutes, the people gathered to watch, as the trial of the Antarctic Empire was about to commence. Wilbur started by stating that although what they did was technically not against the rules, him and everyone there agreed that taking over the world was probably a war crime. Techno reasoned that everyone else had illegally established their countries inside his borders, but nobody was buying it. After a heated debate and calls for execution, Wilbur proposed that if the Antarctic Empire unclaimed all of their land and moved back to Antarctica, they would be let go. And having done everything they set out to do, the three agreed and set free the rest of the world. To make sure this wouldn't happen again, Wilbur and the rest of the jury decided to make it official. No one is allowed to take over the world. And so, the sun rose on a peaceful earth, and the people went home to see their land was back in their hands. And that video would be Wilbur's last on SMP Earth. The server continued for just over 3 more months, and plenty more wars, allyships, and betrayals occurred. But once again, what remains the most today is the friendships between those who played on the server, and the memories that would last a lifetime. After the end of Minecraft Monday, a void was left in its place. Everyone began rushing to create the next big event, to fix what Minecraft Monday did wrong and make a name for themselves in the process. But the next big event wouldn't be anything like Minecraft Monday. In fact, for many, that's what made it appealing. An event designed to be fun. An event that realized that people didn't watch events for the cash prize, but to see their favorite creators compete. An event that would last much, much longer than 14 weeks. The event that continues to dominate Minecraft to this day, Minecraft Championship. Wilbur joined Minecraft Championship in its very first event, and right away, everyone knew this wasn't the next Minecraft Monday, but something different. Original games, its own texture pack, put together by a full team of developers with years of experience. And as the event began, it was clear to everyone that Minecraft Championship was going to be big. Throughout the first 3 competitions, Wilbur's teams performed alright, but never quite made it to the final duel. But in MCC4, it was clear things would be different. And being teamed with Philza, Tommy, and Techno, the rest of the teams were no match for them, winning the event without ever dropping below 2nd place. In the following months, Wilbur would participate in every single Minecraft Championship that took place, each time having 1 or 2 of Philza, Techno, and Tommy on his team. But they were never able to recreate the magic of MCC4. Every time, either team performance or a heartbreaking loss in the final duel would stop him from winning his 2nd event. For 9 months, Wilbur's quest for his second win continued. Loss after loss, he stayed determined that next event would be his to win. Until the day finally arrived. November 14th, 2020. His best team since he won. George not found, known member of the Dream Team and has been playing Minecraft competitively with his friends for nearly a decade. Tapple, decorated Skywars and UHC player known for his ability to obliterate everyone that stood in his way. And of course, Philza, hardcore legend and close friend of Wilbur's for just over a year. Finally, the stars had aligned once again, and together, the four knew that if they all played well, their chances of winning were very real. And as the clock ticked to 0, they made their way to the Decision Dome, and it was time for the event to begin. Game 1 was Battle Box. The team started out strong, getting a victory over the Cyan Creepers, but were not able to keep up the pressure over the next few games, losing the next 3 to teams who each had players who were very good at PvP. But it wasn't all lost, as after their streak of losses, the team pulled it back, winning 5 straight rounds and launching them back up to 5th place by the end of the game. After a bit of a shaky start, things were still looking pretty good, but to make it to the final duel, they had to keep winning. He had finally made it back to Dodgeball. The last time Wilbur stood in this arena, his team lost tragically to the Green Guardians, the very team he stood on now. But this time, he hoped would be different. And all that stood between him and his second win was the Lime Llamas. The Llamas were a very strong team, consisting of 3 members of Hermitcraft, Cubfan, Pearlescent Moon, and Smallish Beans, as well as Fruitberries, who had won 2 of his last 4 events and was considered one of the best players in all of Minecraft Championship. The game was far from over, but the Guardians were determined to go all the way. The team took one final deep breath, and as the clock ticked to 0, the final battle had begun. The Llamas got out to an early lead, taking out Wilbur with their first shot. And as Wilbur watched from the sidelines, his team fell apart in front of him. Both George and Tapple missed their shots, and quickly after, George and Phil were taken out by Cubfan and Fruitberries. All that was left was Tapple, arguably their best shooter, and if anyone could do it, and he fell off the edge. The Guardians were off to a terrible start, having hit none of their shots while the Llamas hit every single one. And to top it all off, an embarrassing loss by Tapple. Suddenly, everyone was a bit worried. But with quite possibly the worst round of Dodgeball in the history of the event behind them, the only way they could go was up.
Alright, I'll pass it. Go for Phil if he's not looking at you.
Yeah, I've got it. Who's taking it? Nice.
Come join for Phil. So I'm gonna get one. Alright. Nice, that's one. 2v2.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice drop. No, I've got to keep dodging.
Nice. The other one and the corner. Get the corner. You got this. You still have it.
Yes.
Nice! Yes!
Nice.
Oh my god.
Yeah! Nice.
Ha! You're being irregular. No corners.
Got him. Nice. Oh, I'm hit. Nice. Tapple cross over. He's aiming to keep.
Okay, wait. Can I take it?
Victory was in sight. Only Smallish Beans stood in the way of Wilbur's second win. It had been 9 months since the last time this moment came. And as he sat on the edge of his seat, Tapple took a deep breath and launched the final shot.
Take the wheel!
They had done it. Through ups and downs, the Green Guardians had pulled through and won. And Wilbur's quest for his second win was finally complete. Wilbur would continue to play in every Minecraft championship to this day, but remains waiting for another win. Throughout the history of Minecraft Championship, much like Minecraft Monday, Wilbur has had the chance to meet countless new creators and strengthen friendships by competing with his best friends. And since its beginning, Minecraft Championship has easily established itself as the biggest event in Minecraft history. And with a team of dedicated developers, a group of creators who love playing, and hundreds of thousands of fans that tune in every month, it's looking like Minecraft Championship is here to stay. But events and SMPs weren't the only thing going Wilbur's way. Sure, they had made for great streams that grew his audience on Twitch, but at heart, Wilbur was a YouTuber. And he knew if he really wanted to make it big as a content creator, he had to think big. Make videos that were different, make videos that reflected him, and make videos that would go viral. His first idea to go viral was his Water Rising video with Schlatt. Its constant chaos, the dynamic between Wilbur and Schlatt, and the captivating flash-forward intro made this video destined to go big. But Wilbur knew as well as anyone that one viral hit wasn't enough. He was on the edge of something big, so close to something revolutionary. And as he released his next few videos with Schlatt, it became clear that the first video was no accident. No, it was only the beginning.
My first sort of big push was on the idea of like Minecraft butt.
It's so damn catchy, right? The idea of this butt. That way of phrasing it somehow puts it in front of more people.
Wilbur Soot seems to be incredible at whatever he seems to touch.
It's something that Wilbur does that I think we've come to know him for, which is taking a really complex idea and boiling it down into something simple.
I mean, the dude is smart. He knows his stuff.
And I really feel like I'm tapped in now and I'm understanding why so many people are crazy about this guy.
It had been just over a year since Wilbur's first video, and now he stood at over 1 million subscribers. Wilbur had struck gold with his challenge videos, and then again with his 100-player events, and then again with You Laugh, You Lose, and again with every video in between. He had made it, established himself as one of the most loved personalities in the Minecraft community, and well beyond. But even still, he had no idea his life was about to change once again, as just 3 months later, he would become the face of one of the most influential servers in Minecraft history. Joining TommyInnit, who himself had managed to reach 250,000 subscribers, the two would change the Minecraft community forever, beginning a story that would capture the hearts of tens of millions. And on July 12, 2020, Wilbur Soot was invited to the Dream SMP. Wilbur saw something in the Dream SMP, something no one else did. An extraordinary opportunity to embark on one of the most unique journeys a Minecraft server has ever been on. In his time on the server, Tommy had created a sort of mock storyline with the server's creator, Dream. But Wilbur saw something beyond this. The potential for a fully put together story, written by him and some of the other players, and acted out in the same way they've done content for years. Live streams. It was genius. A story where the characters were just the personalities the people already loved. Wilbur knew it would be a hit. His entire life to that point, he had put together stories, come up with revolutionary ideas. He just needed one more. And so, he got to work. Characters derived from the personalities of his friends began to build themselves in front of him. The very flaws and characteristics of each of the creators' online personas grew into those of their new characters. Scenes began to dance their way through Wilbur's head. Conflicts over power, battles of wit and bravery, and a villain as cold as ice. The story began to take shape, people cheering the name L'Manberg, falling in love with the story that played out with every stream. Betrayals, bouts of pride, sacrifice for a greater cause. The videos started to gain traction. More and more people tuning into each stream to see what happens next. He continued to write. The world painted into existence with the swift stroke of his pen. New people, new conflict, a nation built on freedom being taken from its own people. Tens of thousands watched as every day something new happened, another twist, another turn. Before long, he paused. He had the idea. He knew how to end it. The perfect bow on top of the already revolutionary story. Animations, music, entire videos covering the story. The community could not have enough. The Dream SMP was taking over Minecraft. Every day, more and more people became invested, finding themselves captivated by the relatable characters and heartfelt story. The finale grew closer, tensions grew stronger, and the world sat on the edge of its seat. One final battle to the most epic told story in recent Minecraft history. Wilbur watched as his finale unfolded just as planned. Everything was perfect until he stood in front of the button. The final twist to his story, his own ending. And as he thought of the impacts of the world he built, he pushed the one button with the power to destroy it all. And as he overlooked what used to be his great country, his unfinished symphony, Philza, one of his closest friends, did the honor of taking him out of the spotlight. Wilbur had written himself out of the story. For months, he worked tirelessly, managing the story, making sure everything went according to plan. And now, it was his time to take a break. Wilbur was well aware that although he had been behind the first part of the story, the world wasn't really his. A few ideas? Maybe. But it would have been nothing without the people who helped him bring his vision to life. And having killed off his own character, Wilbur sealed himself away from the story for the time being, confident that the server was in the best hands he could hope for. Since he joined the Dream SMP, Wilbur has gone from just over 1 million subscribers to now over 6. And since his return to the story, he has continued to captivate the community with his unique character and creative take on storytelling. The Dream SMP truly was and continues to be one of his greatest adventures, bringing him in the spotlight of one of, if not the most popular private servers in Minecraft history. And the foundations he laid with his ideas and contributions to the story have led the story to continue even to this day. It's difficult to overstate the impacts the Dream SMP has had on the people involved. But even with the magnitude of impact he had on the server, there was a different stage that appealed more to Wilbur. On top of being a talented storyteller, inspiring visionary, and hardcore Minecrafter, Wilbur has one more talent that has been with him through it all. And that is music. Wilbur has always loved music. Picking up the guitar in 2018, Wilbur practiced non-stop until he finally felt confident enough to release his first cover. Right away, it was clear he was good. But almost more than his talent, people loved his authenticity. The slight blur, handheld camera, subtle sound of the river flowing behind him made people feel like they were really there with him. And by the time he began posting original songs just a few months later, this style of simplicity continued. For the next 2 years, he continued to post singles typically comedic at heart, as well as continuing covers and putting out an EP titled Maybe I Was Boring. With every new song, his style grew more and more his own. And today, his 3 songs on his main channel are some of his most viewed videos, with his newest, Your New Boyfriend, blowing everything else out of the water with an astonishing 66 million views today. He also released an entire album titled Your City Gave Me Asthma about his time living in London, that since has become some of his most adored work. But once again, he couldn't stop there. Together with his friend and talented guitarist Joe, Wilbur began a band. Before long, they had also recruited Wilbur's friend and outstanding drummer, Mark, and bassist Ash, who Wilbur literally found at a burger shop. Together, the 4 would begin Lovejoy, which is named after Wilbur's drummer for many of his earlier songs. Just under a year after the start of their band, Lovejoy released their first EP, Are You Alright? Immediately, the songs were a hit, sitting at a combined 35 million views between the 3 videos about it on their channel. But there was one final piece yet to be released, a collection of songs that remain some of Lovejoy's greatest work. Throughout his career, Wilbur has constantly one-upped himself, and this album is no exception. And so, the day arrived, and the culmination of Wilbur's career, Pebble Brain, was released to the public, once again taking the world by storm.
There we go. Cool. Alright. The lineup is maybe I was boring and your sister was right. It's not supposed to do that part in the song, I just scratched my nose, but it actually doesn't sound bad.
But of all the things he's done, the adventures he's taken part in, stories he's told, it's moments like these that people will remember Wilbur for. A cold, dark day where everything seems to be going wrong. But no matter where they come from or who they are, the tens of thousands watching, captivated by the strum of the guitar and soft hum of his voice, can feel free from their problems, even if just for a little while. Just a man, his guitar, and a webcam, and yet he's captivated millions. Throughout his time as a creator, Wilbur has shown time and time again that being a creator is more than over-the-top reactions, flashy thumbnails, and amazing highlights, but being genuine. And that something as simple as being yourself, doing what you want to do, and making people laugh can be just enough to capture the hearts of millions. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the legend of Wilbur Soot. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to drop a sub if you think I earned it. It really helps me out. And finally, official Evan MC Gaming merch is out. I genuinely love these designs and have even worn a few to school. So if you want to support me and get a cool shirt in the process, the link is in the description. Anyway, have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video.